Rightio. Let's see how we go here. I've just got my picture down here in the corner. We need to hide the controls. Rightio. So this is just for you, Steve, as a bit of a test out. But I'm going to look at some of the long cities. There's quite a few cities. One of the problems we have with the moon is that you get one person might find one spot and one person might find another spot. I find that there is so much on the moon that there's any reason people can't, find more. To use an example, I'm just using straight out Google Earth in this case, and I'm using the global maps down here. I change that from, we have two types. We have a visible image imagery. Now that's the more recent stuff. That's from the, from in the last 10 years, I suppose. But if we go down to the lunar orbiter mosaic, and what we end up with is a lot of photos from the 60s, before we even went to the moon. And so I use this feature a lot, and you'll see that it'll give you a different picture. But what we're going to do today is, I'm going to go right back up to here. We're going to start with our big long cities. And that's all I'm going to show you today, is just the big long cities. So let's see now, as I said before, any bloke, any Sheila can come on here and have a look on Google Earth and find this stuff. So we'll have a bit of a jump around all these long cities. Now, I haven't put these in order, so we will jump from sort of, one end of the moon to the other as we go from one to the other. We'll see how we go. This is only a test and mainly for you, Steve. So first one goes, we go down to a line measure down here, and what do we come? We can see a lot of the editing that's been going on before. Right, so let's turn that red line off and let's go and have a look. Now, what are we looking at here? We're looking at, on average, cities that are around about 100 miles long and roughly a mile wide. So here's the start of this city. In this case is over here. We'll scroll this one down and let's see what we can see here. You can see structures in here. These aren't anything unusual. They're not, they're not photo, what do they call them? Artifacts. These are all over the place. So here we go. We're looking at a city here. And I'll just slowly scroll along, and you can see the structures that are in there. Like there's one here. We can see all the structuring through here. Don't worry about these lines. I'll explain what these lines are later on. These lines going across here. But we can see here that certainly this is not natural. This is certainly structures of some sorts. And so as I just scroll along that one there, you can see some of the structures that are built in there. Even if you use your height measurements, so let's just look at this lighter spot here for argument's sake. Now that's telling me I'm minus 2,545 metres. They must have a normal level somewhere, so we're actually in the minuses here. So if this is higher than the surrounding area, the number will go up. So we're at 2,545 metres there. We're at 253 metres there, 30 metres there. So you can see that there's a height difference there in those things. We'll keep scrolling along here. As you can see, there's plenty of structures in here. More structures than you could absolutely count. Now, I'll jump out of this one and we'll go to our next one, which is this one here. And you can see some of the editing that's been done on these older photos. Here we find another long city. Now again, these are not artifacts. These are not not artifacts of any photos. We can see another city here. You can see all the extra little bits and pieces along the edges here. It's not like a big asteroid's gone rolling across the surface and left all its bits and pieces. You can see here as we just scroll along, you'll see the different structures, you know, this type of thing here. What high do we got there? We got 1522, 1434. So there's 90 meters difference between that and this area here. So again, you know, that confirms to me that that's a fairly big structure. What do we got here? We've got a fairly high one here by the looks of things. We'll go from there, which is 1584 into 1462. So that's actually a big hole in the ground. Yeah, so that's actually a negative measurement there. But that covers that one. So that's two cities that we've come across there. Now, let me see what else I can find here. Now, we'll go to our next long city. Again, we'll jump around all over the place. Oh, this one's got pyramid with it as well, if I remember rightly. So again, we turn off our long city there, our line. We'll go down, let it catch up, and look what we're looking at here. They are total structures. These are just, you know, almost like they're modular, you know, cities. There, you can see the structures in this, and we just keep moving along. Each one of them is pretty much the same length. Some of them are shorter, some of them are bigger, only because of the way they've been cut off by the software. We'll go to another one here. Where are we going to now? Oh, we've jumped right across now. Here's another nice long city. And a lot of people say, oh, but there's a crater there. Well, a lot of these photos also incorporated infrared. So whether these are actually underground or not, they could well be. But you can see here the sort of structures there that you're looking at. Well, you get too close and they just blur out on you. But yeah, there's another massively long city. I myself personally believe that these are big mine cities. They're mining the surface of the moon or the interior of the moon. But you can see there that you know, that's a pretty long city. That's that one there. Now we'll go to. I'm going to go back to this one because what I didn't show you before was with this city is the pyramid. A lot of people don't realise that there's a pyramid actually there. Well, we'll go to this one. It should give us an angle. Oh, there's our pyramid. Check that out. Check that out. So that's, we go to the top of that and we're looking at 1,347 metres minus 3,900. So we go, what were we? 4,000. There's nearly 5.5 kilometres high, that is. Rightio. So we're getting off our line of cities. We'll go down here a little bit further. We've got another long city here. Jump to that one. Some of these I've doubled up on over the two computers. But again, we've got another long city here. And you can see that there's structures and there's everything inside them. These lines that you see here, these little lines of dots, in my personal opinion, because of the aperture speed of the camera that was taking the photos, I believe that they're actually ships taking off, going vertical upwards. I may be wrong on that one, but anyway, there's that city there. We'll go to this city. We'll jump down a little bit now. Oh, here's our 100-mile city. This is exactly 100 miles long, this city, and again we can see many structures in amongst it. down here. You can see the structures in there in that crater. Nothing real super obvious with that one. Come in a little bit closer and I'll just putter along a bit slower, and you can see the structures that are in there. Some pretty amazing structures in there. You can see a big circle here, and you know, look at this structure here. That's pretty amazing. So there's that one there. We'll move on to another one now because there's so many of them. I'm not sure that we've already been to this one. Oh, and here we've got another city. Oh, and this city here, this is interesting because we can see this with a big shadow over it. We can see the shadow there beside it. So let's just get a measurement here on that. So let's say we're minus 823 meters. So if that's up in the air, the number should go up when I go to the edge, 995. So there's about 150 meters. So this is about 150 meters high, that is. What else can we see? Again, I can send you the links to these. See what you reckon. But this is on the laptop computer. You can see again, we got another ship leaving, I believe. There we go. Now, just a couple other things while we're here. You'll see these little bits and pieces all the time, right, as we're looking around on the moon. And what they actually are is these are the spheres that we see on the moon that are flying around. There's one there, there's one there. Now again, because of the aperture speed of the cameras, a lot of these spheres look like tubes or like tablets or capsules more than anything. So forgive my mouse is playing up. So we've been to our 100 Mile City. We'll go to Long City 2. Where's this one take us to? Ooh, here we go. Got a bit of an angle view on this one. Now we can see this back up here is interesting. But again, another city. Another city. Look how long this city is. We'll go have a look at another one. I'm doing many of these. Oh, there we go. Look at that. Another city, and you can see that they travel across all these other territory as well, up and down. There's Apollo 16, that's where they landed. You can see over here the rough editing of some of the other stuff that's available here. You can see this line across here. They don't send a camera to the moon to pick up artifacts. Right? These NASA is, you know, they spend billions of dollars to get up there. They're not going to go up there and take crappy photos. A lot of these here, I believe, are coverages of more cities. You can see this is NASA's poor example of editing. Back in the earlier days, of course, the newer stuff's all edited a lot easier and a lot better. We'll move down a bit further. We got here. We got there's another long city. Oh, there's another one there. This is pretty old. This one, by the looks of things, might even be deserted. It doesn't look like it's pretty old to me. Not quite as easy to view, but you can see again structures in that crater there. Something here. Come back out again. So you can see, even at this level here, that, you know, that's not natural. That's not an artifact. That's we'll go for another one. I could ramble on about these all day. Again, we're flying around. Here's another long city, another old one, very, very old. Let's see whether we can see sort of any artifacts hanging off this. When I see any of these spheres flying around, I'll point them out. There's another one there. Don't get caught up with these crosses there, or just locating crosses. There's another one there. There's another one there. And they're all travelling at a fair speed. Again, we can see we don't know whether they did. And I find quite a few of these lines going across here that go right across different strips of film. Let's drop out of that one and find something a bit more obvious. We'll go back to our line measurements. That's one we've already looked at. These are some of the ones I've doubled up on. That's another one we've looked at. I think that's the one we just looked at before, but there's another one there. Again, that's probably a flyer there. Rubbish struck out the front. Rubbish day to day. So you can see there the structures in that. We'll go to City 4. Don't think we've seen this one yet. Yes, we have. Don't think we've looked at this one. Now, this is, I've marked this as a city and a spaceport, probably because of these couple of marks here that don't look natural. Again, it looks like something that NASA's tried to edit over. So there's just a few. Let's try that out. I'll send that to you and see how that goes from there. I'm going to stop this thing now.